Chanoch, chapter 21. Then I made a circuit to a place in which nothing was completed, and there I beheld neither the tremendous workmanship of an exalted heaven, nor of an established earth, but a desolate spot prepared and terrific. There too I beheld 7 stars of heaven bound in it together, like great mountains, and like a blazing fire. I exclaimed, For what species of crime have they been bound, and why have they been removed to this place? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and who conducted me, answered, Enoch, wherefore do you ask, wherefore do you reason with yourself, and anxiously inquire? These are those of the stars which have transgressed the commandment of El Elyon, and are here bound until the infinite number of the days of their crimes be completed. From there I afterwards passed on to another terrific place, where I beheld the operation of a great fire blazing and glittering, in the midst of which there was a division. Columns of fire struggled together to the end of the abyss, and deep was their descent. But neither its measurement nor magnitude was I able to discover, neither could I perceive its origin. Then I exclaimed, How terrible is this place, and how difficult to explore! Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, Enoch, why are you alarmed and amazed at this terrific place, at the sight of this suffering? This, he said, is the prison of the angels, and here they are kept forever. Chapter 22. From there I proceeded to another spot, where I saw in the west a great and lofty mountain, a strong rock, and 4 delightful places. Internally it was deep, capacious, and very smooth as if it had been rolled over. It was both deep and dark to behold. Then Raphael, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, These are the delightful places where the ruachoth of the souls of the dead will be collected. For them were they formed. And here will be collected all the souls of the sons of men. These places in which they dwell shall they occupy until the day of judgment, and until their appointed period. Their appointed period will be long, even until the great judgment. And I saw the ruachoth of the sons of men who were dead, and their voices reached to heaven, while they were accusing. Then I inquired of Raphael, an angel who was with me, and said, Whose ruachoth is that, the voice of which reaches to heaven, and accuses? He answered, saying, This is the ruachoth of Havel, who was slain by Cain, his brother, and who will accuse that brother, until his seed be destroyed from the face of the earth, until his seed perish from the seed of mankind. At that time, therefore, I inquired respecting him and respecting the general judgment, saying, Why is one separated from another? He answered, 3 separations have been made between the ruachoth of the dead, and thus have the ruachoth of the righteous been separated, namely by a chasm, by water and by light above it. And in the same way, likewise, are the sinners separated when they die and are buried in the earth, judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Here their souls are departed. Moreover, abundant is their suffering until the time of the great judgment, the castigation, and the torment of those who eternally execrate, whose souls are punished and bound there forever. And thus has it been from the beginning of the world. Thus has there existed a separation between the souls of those who utter complaints and of those who watch for their destruction, to slaughter them in the day of sinners. A receptacle of this sort has been formed for the souls of unrighteous men and of sinners, of those who have completed crime and associated with the impious, whom they resemble. Their souls shall not be annihilated in the day of judgment, neither shall they arise from this place. Then I blessed Elohim, and said, Blessed be my Adonai, Yahweh of glory and of righteousness, who reigns over all forever and ever. From there I went to another place, towards the west, until the extremities of the earth, where I beheld a fire blazing and running along without cessation, which intermitted its course neither by day nor by night, but continued always the same. I inquired, saying, What is this which never ceases? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, This blazing fire which you behold running towards the west is all the luminaries of heaven. Chapter 24. I went from there to another place, and saw a mountain of fire flashing both by day and night. I proceeded towards it, and perceived 7 splendid mountains, which were all different from each other. Their stones were brilliant and beautiful. All were brilliant and splendid to behold, and beautiful was their surface. 3 were toward the east, and strengthened by being placed one upon another, and 3 were towards the south, strengthened in a similar manner. There were likewise deep valleys, which did not approach each other, and the 7th mountain was in the midst of them. In length they all resembled the seat of a throne, and odoriferous trees surrounded them. Among these there was a tree of an unceasing smell, nor of those which were in Eden. And there was one of all the fragrant trees which smelt like this. Its leaf, its flower, and its bark never withered, and its fruit was beautiful. Its fruit resembled the cluster of the palm. I exclaimed, Behold, this tree is goodly in aspect, pleasing in its leaf, and the sight of its fruit is delightful to the eye. Then Michael, one of the holy and glorious angels who were with me and who presided over them, answered and said, Chanoch, why do you inquire respecting the odor of this tree? Are you inquisitive to know it? Then I, Chanoch, replied to him and said, Concerning everything I am desirous of instruction, but particularly concerning this tree. He answered me, saying, That mountain which you behold, the extent of whose head resembles the seat of Yahweh, will be the seat on which shall sit the holy and great Yahweh of glory, the everlasting King, when he shall come and descend to visit the earth with goodness. And that tree of an agreeable smell, not one of carnal odor, there shall be no power to touch, until the period of the great judgment, when all shall be punished and consumed forever. This shall be bestowed on the righteous and humble. The fruit of the tree shall be given to the elect. For toward the north life shall be planted in the holy place, toward the habitation of the everlasting King. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One. The sweet odor shall enter into their bones, and they shall live a long life on the earth, as your forefathers have lived. Neither in their days shall sorrow, distress, trouble, and punishment afflict them. And I blessed Yahweh of glory, the everlasting King, because he has prepared this tree for the Kodeshim, formed it, and declared that he would give it to them. Chapter 25. From there I proceeded to the middle of the earth, and beheld a happy and fertile spot, which contained branches continually sprouting from the trees, which were planted in it. There I saw a holy mountain, and underneath it water on the eastern side, which flowed toward the south. I saw also on the east another mountain as high as that, and between them were the deep, but not wide valleys. Water ran toward the mountain to the west of this, and underneath there was likewise another mountain. There was a valley, but not a wide one, below it, and in the midst of them were other deep and dry valleys toward the extremity of all of the 3. All these valleys, which were deep but not wide, consisted of a strong rock, with a tree which was planted in them. And I wondered at the rock and at the valleys, being extremely surprised.